Imagine staring out into the red abyss, thousands of miles of barren land stretching past the horizon. Since the first person gazed upon the night sky, humanity could only dream about what another planet would look like from afar. An undiscovered world, 35 million miles away from home. Someone will get to be the first human to step on Mars soon. Hold on. How did we get here? You might wonder, why does the government need to use our tax dollars to fund space research and exploration? Their efforts have no relevance in my life. Averaging just 1.1% of the federal budget since its inception in 1958, NASA is responsible for more than 1,600 consumer products. Among this list includes camera phones, CAT scans, scratch-resistant lenses, the computer mouse, satellite communications, air purifiers, baby formula, GPS, memory foam, and artificial limbs. Studies have shown that every dollar invested in NASA boosts our economy by $7 to $14 because of the revenues from commercialized products that you are using every day. A strong case for our need to go to Mars would be the benefits we receive from the scientific innovations these people use to solve difficult engineering and physics problems. But a much larger issue looms over us as our world is facing a serious population crisis. It took all of human history up until the year 1804 to grow the world population to the first billion. Today, there are 7.6 billion people, and we're on pace to reach 10 billion by the 2050s. There is a finite amount of land and resources on our planet, and we are on our way to depleting them until we are left with an overpopulated wasteland. World-renowned physicist Stephen Hawking predicts that we only have another 100 years left on Earth due to the consequences of climate change and overpopulation. The late professor stresses the importance of humanity becoming a multiplanetary species for our long-term survival. This has led to thoughts of taking the human race past our planet's boundaries, just like our ancestors dreamed of heading west to the New World. As former President John F. Kennedy said,
"We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept."
This mission brought mankind into a new era, but we have made little advancement since the moon landing in 1969. It is on our generation to push past the 50 years of stagnation and venture out into our solar system. Our hopes of getting people to Mars do not rest solely on NASA's shoulders, though, as a high-profile startup wants to be the first to the red planet. Founded in 2002, Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, or SpaceX, is the brainchild of Elon Musk, a bold entrepreneur with the grand vision of colonizing Mars. Known for pushing the pace in aerospace innovation, SpaceX flipped the equation for rocket economics on its axis. Launches traditionally use rockets for one-time use, which is like an airline needing a new Boeing jet for every flight. SpaceX pioneered the idea of making rockets reusable by engineering the boosters to land gently back on the ground via propulsive landing. To further save on costs, SpaceX manufactures over 70% of their rockets in-house, a practice unheard of for other rocket manufacturers that rely on extensive supply chains. This has allowed for the price of a Falcon Heavy launch into low Earth orbit to be $90 million, compared to their competitors' prices ranging around $400 million. The Big Falcon rocket, SpaceX's proposed spacecraft to get to Mars that is currently in development, embodies the company's ambitions to get launch costs down to $10 million. People used to launch Ferraris into space, but making space commercially viable is about who can launch a Toyota. Funny enough, SpaceX was able to pull off the most successful space PR stunt in recent years when they launched the new Tesla Roadster into deep space back in February 2018. Dubbed the Starman, a dummy driver of the Roadster is on course to closely overlap Mars's orbit around October of 2020. SpaceX's imaginative approach to commercial space has boosted the company into a budding aerospace behemoth, currently valued at $28 billion. A staggering valuation for a young company is not without its merit, as SpaceX commands over 60% of the global commercial launch market. While these achievements are great for the growth of the company, SpaceX is laser focused on their long-term goal of colonizing Mars. The company has laid out their mission plans by first landing cargo ships on Mars in 2022 so that all needed supplies will be available for their manned mission in 2024. It is vital that the infrastructure of living conditions for the astronauts are complete, with plentiful amounts of food and water so the crew can survive and continue their work. They emphasize wanting to be first to Mars to get a head start on their vision of establishing a Martian colony of 1 million people. Whether or not these dates are probable, SpaceX has a proven track record of overcoming criticisms. This plan is very ambitious, especially compared to NASA's timeline of a manned mission in the early 2030s. Regardless of which organization will be the first to send a crew into deep space, getting to Mars follows a strict schedule. At current rocket speed capabilities, it takes about 7 months to reach the red planet. However, the trip is not as simple as driving straight down the road. Both Earth and Mars follow their own orbits, which means the position of the planets relative to each other is constantly shifting. Every 26 months, the planets reach their closest distance, opening the ideal launch window. This timing allows for a rocket to intercept the path of Mars with the lowest possible amount of energy, called the Hohmann transfer orbit. While this all seems like a great stepping stone for mankind's pursuit of exploration, the economics of such a mission must make sense for these plans to be executed. The first manned mission will likely include a team of 6 to 12 people, which will tally up a large upfront investment to ensure the crew can safely travel millions of miles and live on a vacant planet for years at a time. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk estimates that the first mission will cost around $10 billion per person, but thanks to the principles of scale, these costs can come down significantly to the range of $200,000 per person once the colony is under full development. Commercializing space is not about making a quick buck, but to develop new technologies and solve staggering problems that could pay off in ways that we cannot conceive today. Investors in space realize the potential that can come from bold projects, just like how NASA's 60-year tenure has propelled the global economy from many technological advances. Consider the explorers that sailed across the Atlantic Ocean. By colonizing the New World, these ventures created new economies and brought back tremendous wealth to their home countries. Our solar system is simply the next frontier for us to expand out to. Mars could be the next hub for innovation, creating industries that will present new opportunities for people around the world. Getting there will be a very difficult project, but once we land on the Martian surface, a world of possibilities will be available. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the futuristic technologies that are changing our world, the commercialization of space, and mankind's greatest project, colonizing Mars.